Welcome to Zing Somerset's Food for Thought, and we're completing our Fundamentals of Nutrition series with fats. We'll be discussing why we need fats in our diet, the different types of fat that exist, and where we find them in our food. So why do we need them? Well, fats are absorbed from our food to be used by our body for important jobs. Our brain and nervous system use lots of fats. Some of our hormones are made from fats, and some of them help us to absorb certain vitamins and minerals from our food. Eating fat does not make us fat. Eating foods high in fat may contribute to eating too many calories overall, and this can cause weight gain. But this is true of any food, not just fat, and it is a common misconception that eating fat makes us fat. So the first type of fat to talk about today are saturated fats. These are often solid at room temperature, which means we usually see them as visible white fat on our food. And these are essential for helping us absorb vitamins and minerals from our food. Lots of people believe that saturated fats are bad for us. This isn't actually true. They have a very important job to do. The problem is that most of us eat too much saturated fat on a regular basis. And in reality, too much of anything can be bad for us eventually. Where do we find them? Well, in red meat, processed meat, and in the skin of chicken and other poultry. Eggs contain some saturated fat. Butter and cheese and cream also contain saturated fats, as does pastry, which is made with butter, so pasties, pork pies, sausage rolls, all of those sorts of things. So unsaturated fat is the next type of fat to talk about today, and these are often liquid at room temperature. This means that in general you can pour or spray them, so we're thinking of oils most of the time. But some of them are trapped within solid foods, so you don't always see them as an oil. And unsaturated fats are really important for our brains to function properly, maintaining our mental health and well-being, and for regulating our cholesterol. Most of us don't eat enough unsaturated fats, and this can impact our health, including increasing our risk of developing type 2 diabetes and Alzheimer's disease. So omega-3 is often spoken about and is often listed on packaging for food, particularly in fish. And omega-3 is really important for the function of our brains. And there is a reason why we're told to eat more fish, particularly oily fish, which contains lots of omega-3. So where do we find unsaturated fats? Well, as well as saturated fats, eggs also contain some unsaturated. It's also present in lots of different fish, such as salmon and mackerel. In nuts, nut butter and seeds, they contain unsaturated fats. Oils such as olive oil and avocados. So what makes the different types of fat different? Saturated fats have matching tails, which allow them to stack really tightly next to each other, and this makes them into a solid. Unsaturated fats have different shaped tails, which means that they cannot line up next to each other, and they have to stay further apart, which creates a liquid. So these tails behave a little bit like the repelling ends of a magnet, whereby they cannot actually get close to each other to stick together, whereas saturated fats act like the attractive ends of magnets, and they all want to be together. So our take-home message for fats is that most of us eat too much saturated fat and not enough unsaturated fat on a regular basis. We should aim to cut down on red meat, pastry and processed foods, which contain lots of saturated fats. We should try to eat more nuts, seeds, fish and less fatty meats, such as skinless chicken and turkey and lean cuts of red meat.